Hi.
Hi there. Welcome back to English for Specific Purposes. We are your hosts. I'm Mr. Daryl.
And I'm Miss Tatia. მოგესალმებით, კეთილი იყოს თქვენი დაბრუნება ჩვენს ტელესკოლაში. მე თათია ვარ, ეს კი დერილია. დღევანდელი გაკვეთილის თემა კი პაციენტის მოვლა.
Nursing.
Nursing, yes, very interesting topic, right?
Also very important, I think.
Very important.
It's a difficult job to do well, but so important to the lives and the health of many older people as well, and a lot of people.
I agree with you. But before we go to the lesson, I think that we have to look at our agenda. What do we have on our agenda today, Mr. Daryl?
Well, as you remember, we always start with an introduction. We discuss a few things about the topic. We move on to a vocabulary list, which is connected to the reading list, text that comes after. After that reading text, we've got some grammar. We'll wrap everything up after with some homework.
Nice. გაკვეთილს როგორც ყოველთვის შესწავლით დავიწყებთ, შემდეგ შევისწავლით ახალ სიტყვებს, წავიკითხავთ ტექსტს, ამას მოყვება გრამატიკა, შემდეგ შევაჯამოთ გაკვეთილს და დავასრულებთ საშინაო დავალებით. Let's get started. Okay, Mr. Daryl, as we are talking about health and health practitioners today, I want to ask you, what do you do to be healthy? Do you do anything to be healthy?
No, it is important in this modern age to stay healthy and to do the right things. I try a few things. I try to eat well, cut some salt out. Doctors say to cut salt out. Do some exercise as well, walking, running, and so on. What about yourself?
Great. I also try to be healthy. I try to avoid junk food. I try to do some exercise whenever I have time. Mm-hmm. And I don't eat in the evening, and that's all I do.
Do you get 8 hours of sleep a night?
Oh, no.
Oh.
Unfortunately, no. But I always just try to do it, but generally it's impossible for me at the moment, but I plan to improve my sleeping habits.
That's something people miss quite often, the sleeping, which I think is quite important.
Yes, because of this busy lifestyle, I think, right?
Yeah.
Okay, now let's look at our set of vocabulary. Mm-hmm. And the first word we have is protein. Protein is a noun, and in Georgian it is translated as tsila. Protein. So how would you define that word, Mr. Daryl?
Protein, very important. It's one of the substances that can be found in the food that we eat. Meat, cheese, fish, nuts, beans as well. These have a high content of protein, and it's necessary for the body to grow and to be strong.
So protein, it's a noun, and in Georgian it is tsila. And I have an example here. Meat and fish are vital source of protein, as you said. Mm-hmm. Okay, Mr. Daryl, what is the next word we have?
Carbohydrates. Carbohydrates.
Carbohydrates, it's a noun, and in Georgian it's translated as nakhshirtqlebi. So which food contains carbohydrate?
Yes, it's another one of those substances just like protein, and it's contained in sugar, starch, and you can find it in potatoes, pasta, spaghetti, that kind of thing, rice as well.
Okay.
And they give us energy.
I think that it's not good to eat too much carbohydrates, right?
It's not good to have too much of anything, I suppose.
Okay. So carbohydrates, it's a noun, and in Georgian it's translated as nakhshirtqlebi. And an example here, eat your carbohydrates within 2 hours after your workout. Good recommendation, right? Okay, and the next word we have is fiber. Fiber is a noun, and in Georgian it is bochko. So what type of food is rich in fiber, Mr. Daryl?
Yes, good point. Fruit, vegetables, and brown bread in particular are rich in fiber, and this is another substance like the other two which travel through the body as waste but help to clean out your body.
Yeah, I think that it helps digestion, right?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. Fiber, it's a noun, and in Georgian it's translated as bochko. And I have an example. Doctors recommended a diet of fruits, vegetables, and grains that are high in fiber. So it turns out that vegetables and grains and fruits are rich in high fiber.
Very important to eat the vegetables.
Yeah. Okay, and what is the next word, Mr. Daryl?
Nutrient or nutrients.
Nutrients. Nutrient is a noun, and in Georgian it's translated as მკვებავი ნივთიერება. It's also very important, okay, to get nutrients. So I think that just the food we eat should be healthy and full of nutrients.
They should provide us with the good things that food provides us with.
Okay, so how would you define the word, Mr. Darrell?
Any substance from plants or animals that we eat that will provide us with energy and everything that we need.
Okay, thank you. So nutrient is a noun, and in Georgian it's translated as მკვებავი ნივთიერება. And an example here, a healthy diet should provide all your essential nutrients. Okay, and the next word we have is
Additives. Additives.
Additives is a noun, and in Georgian it's translated as საკვები დანამატი. Okay, are they good or bad?
Well, there's differences of opinion on additives. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they are bad.
Or maybe there are good and bad additives.
Yeah, that's what they say.
Okay, how would you define this word, Mr. Darrell?
It's another substance that is put into food artificially in order to improve its taste or appearance, and so that's why some people are worried about additives.
Okay, so additives, it's a noun, and in Georgian it's translated as საკვები დანამატი. And an example here, this margarine is full of additives. Just look at the label. I always look at the label, by the way, to see if the food contains any additives, and I usually try to avoid buying this kind of food.
It's very wise and responsible of you. You can get a lot of information from the labels of foods.
So we have to look at labels before we buy things.
Yeah.
And I think that we have finished with the words, and it's time to practice. On the screen we're going to see sentences with gaps and the words to choose, and we have to choose the best word which would suit the gap. And you know that I would like to start, right?
Yes, of course, I do know that.
Okay.
So
I'm ready.
the first sentence is, a vegetarian gets, now this thing, not from meat, but from its analogs, from things that are like meat.
Okay, and I think that the word I would choose here would be protein. And the sentence would sound like this. A vegetarian gets protein not from meat, but from its analog.
Perfect, that is correct.
And now it's your turn. Analysis of the wine showed that it contained dangerous. Look at the dangerous.
Yes, exactly. If there's something dangerous, from our list of words, I would guess additives.
And you're right, Mr. Darrell, and the sentence would sound the following way. Analysis of the wine showed that it contained dangerous additives. Okay, now
Your turn.
Yeah, my turn.
Here's your sentence. A poor diet with low something, snacks, can lead to nutritional deficiencies.
I think that the right word here is nutrients.
Very good.
Okay, and the sentence would sound the following way. A poor diet with low nutrient snacks can lead to nutritional deficiencies.
Well done.
Okay, now it's your turn. Eating cereals and fruits will give you plenty of, then there is a gap, in your diets.
Okay, as we said before, cereals and fruits and vegetables, that kind of thing, gives you a lot of fiber.
And you are right, Mr. Darrell, and the sentence would sound the following way. Eating cereals and fruits will give you plenty of fiber in your diet.
Something to look forward to.
And the last one.
Both of the word you know very well, and fats provide plentiful sources of energy.
So I remember you told me that the source of energy is carbohydrate. So I would say the sentence the following way. Both carbohydrates and fats provide plentiful sources of energy. And I think that we have finished with the first set of vocabulary, and it's time to move on to reading. And before we move on to the reading section, let's have a little bit of a discussion, Mr. Darrell.
Yeah.
I would like to ask you, what's your favorite food?
Well, that's a very good question. I do like food a lot. I like to eat spaghetti a lot, Italian spaghetti. But from Georgian food, I think I like what you call chadi and cheese.
Don't say.
Yeah, I do like it.
Okay. As our text today is about obesity, I want to ask you, what are the best ways to fight against obesity?
The best ways to fight against obesity? Well, try not to eat too late in the day. Try to control how much you eat in the day. Do you have any ideas to add to that?
Yeah, no, just I agree with you. First of all, I think that you should not definitely eat in the evening, and you should reduce your bread. And I think that just
What
you
about
should
exercise as well?
and do exercise, of course. This is also very, very important. And you have to look at your portions of food, right? They shouldn't be too large, right? And I think that this is a good thing. And if you follow this, all these tips, I think that you will never gain weight. Okay. Now let's move on to the words, because in order to read the text and to understand the text, we need to know some words. So let's look at the second set of vocabulary. So the first word we have is obesity. Obesity is a noun, and in Georgian it is ჭარბწონიანობა. So obesity, Mr. Daryl, how would you define this word?
Obesity is just the fact of being extremely fat or overweight in a way that's dangerous for your health.
Okay. Obesity, it's a noun, and in Georgian it's translated as ჭარბწონიანობა. And the example here, a diet that is high in fat and sugar can lead to obesity. So we should know that a lot of sugar and fat will lead to obesity. Okay, and what is the next word, Mr. Daryl?
Life expectancy is a noun, life expectancy.
Life expectancy is a noun, and in Georgian it's translated as სიცოცხლის საშუალო ხანგრძლივობა. Okay, and how would you define that word, Mr. Daryl?
It's almost in the title, but it's the length of time that a living thing can live, but it usually refers to humans. So our human life expectancy is around 80 to 100 years.
And I think that it differs according to the countries, right?
Yeah, it depends on maybe even the economic situation of a country or how developed it is.
Yes, you're right. So life expectancy is a noun, and in Georgian it means სიცოცხლის საშუალო ხანგრძლივობა. And an example here, life expectancy in Europe increased greatly in the 20th century because maybe of these living conditions, because the living conditions have improved, and that's why the life expectancy has increased.
Yes, and probably food intake as well got better from previous centuries.
And people are more concerned about their diet and eating healthy food, right? Okay, and the next word we have is intake. Intake is a noun, and in Georgian it means მიღება პერორალურად. How would you define that word?
Oh, yeah, it's a simple enough word. It's the amount of food or substances that you take in at a given time, your intake.
Okay, intake, a noun, and in Georgian it means მიღება პერორალურად. And the example here is, it says on the packet that 4 slices of this bread contains 1/2 of your recommended daily intake of fiber. Okay.
There is a recommended intake of most foods per day.
Yes, yes. And if you follow this, I think that you won't have any problems with obesity. Yeah. Okay. What is the next word we have, Mr. Daryl?
Weight gain, weight gain.
Weight gain is a noun, and in Georgian it's translated as წონის მომატება.
It's an increase in body weight, so just any kind of increase.
Okay. Weight gain, წონის მომატება. And an example here, she was very upset by her recent weight gain. Yeah, usually women get upset because of this weight gain, and they always control their weight and just are really unhappy to see if they gain even 1 kilogram.
Yeah, well, it's a difficult thing to control, I guess.
Yeah. Okay, so the next word we have is weight loss. Weight loss is the opposite of weight gain.
Yeah.
It's a noun, and in Georgian it's translated as წონის კლება. So, how would you define?
Quite simply, the reduction, the decreasing of body weight.
Okay, so weight loss. Weight loss is a noun, and in Georgian it is წონის კლება. And for example, common symptoms of diabetes are weight loss and fatigue. So I don't think that is very good when you lose a lot of weight. Okay.
Fair enough.
So the next word is consistent. Consistent is an adjective, and in Georgian it's translated as mdgradi. Okay, how would you define that word, Mr. Taro?
It's something that always behaves in the same way, in a similar way, especially in a positive sense.
Okay, so consistent is an adjective, and in Georgian it's translated as mtgradi. And we have an example here. There has been a consistent improvement in her attitude. And I think that we are ready to read the text, find out interesting information about obesity and how to fight against obesity, and then do some exercises to find out how well we have understood the text.
Very good.
Concepts of healthy diet have steadily altered across time in response to beliefs and research, and at no other time in history have we had access to so much evidence of the impact of food on the human body. Despite considerable hype from those with vested interests and frivolous speculation from irresponsible journalism, there is now a clear consensus about what a healthy diet consists of, which has remained relatively consistent over the past few years. The UK Department of Health's guidelines for a healthy diet are represented in the health promotion tool, the plate model, which shows the 5 major food groups and the proportion each should contribute to the dietary intake. Additionally, it's recommended that each individual should eat 5 or more portions of a variety of fruit and vegetables a day.
So despite lots of different opinions over the years, now the government has got recommended healthy diets for people.
Yes, it's called like plate model.
Let's move on to appetite and choices. There are many factors regarding food choices. For example, we consume food because of its perceived benefits, or for its own sake, because it tastes good, or for comfort. By the same token, we avoid foods because of their dangerous properties, because of our intolerance or allergy to them, or because of dislike or familiarity. Social factors are important in determining how we come to like or dislike certain foods. Parental choice can, for example, influence children one way or another. People can develop long-term food preferences that are stable over long periods of time and unaffected by changes in their mood or environment. These can be highly resistant to change if a more healthy diet is advised. Some food preferences change from day to day and are more likely to be affected by mood. For example, we may choose to eat a bar of chocolate to cheer ourselves up, or have a glass of champagne to celebrate an event.
Yes, I knew it, and I usually, when I want to like cheer up, I usually have a bar of chocolate.
What about champagne?
No, I don't like, and I don't think that it makes me happy.
Okay.
Okay. So, obesity. Nearly half of Britain's population is overweight and 1 in 5 is clinically obese. The equation is deceptively simple. The energy expended must be balanced by the energy gained. The body's metabolism slows over time, so as people become less active because of age, they need to adjust their intake downwards and try to keep their activity level up. Obesity can reduce a person's life expectancy. The client with obesity may well experience psychological and social penalties too. The treatment of obesity should be individualized and include assessment and goal setting. It should be based on diet, activity and behavioral change. The initial aim of obesity management is to stabilize weight and prevent further weight gain. Following this, a moderate weight loss can be attempted, followed by further weight loss and weight maintenance. If diet, activity and behavioral change are successful in isolation, surgery or drug therapy may be offered. Prevention is, however, better than cure, and currently there are lots of national and local initiatives to try and address the significant public health problem of obesity in the country.
So with a bit of organization, you can improve your health.
Yeah, and they have plenty of recommendations how to keep healthy and maintain your weight.
Okay, very good.
And I think it's time to practice and find out how well we have understood the text. So we will see some statements and we have to decide whether the statements are true or false. And the first statement is, liking or disliking particular foods depends completely on the individual. Do you think that is true or false, Mr. Darrow?
I think from the text, I would have to say that was maybe it's false.
Yes, you are right, Mr. Daryl. It's false because social factors are important in determining how we come to like or dislike certain foods. Okay, now I will try. You will read the statement. I will think whether it's true or false.
Here you go. Mood can affect food choices. Is it true or false?
I think it's true because I remember we read some food preferences change from day to day and are more likely to be affected by moods.
Interesting.
Okay, and the next one for you. Less than 50% of Britain's population is overweight. Is it true or false, Mr. Gerald?
Oh, well, based on many of the British TV shows I've seen, they seem pretty slim. I'd say it's true.
It's true, right. So nearly half of Britain's population is overweight and 1 in 5 is clinically obese.
1 in 5. Large number, perhaps.
Yeah, really? Okay. And now it's my turn to try. And I'm listening to you, Mr. Durrell.
Obesity management should encourage patients to aim for immediate, rapid weight loss.
I think that immediate and rapid weight loss is not a good idea, so it might be false because we read the initial aim of obesity management is to stabilize weight and prevent further weight gain.
Doing anything too quickly is probably bad anyway.
Yeah, I think. So, and I think that we have finished with the reading part and it's time for grammar. And our grammar today is talking about comparisons again. So making comparisons and a new structure. The plus comparative plus the plus comparative. And comparatives of compound adjectives, okay?
Very cool.
Okay.
So when making comparisons, you can use the following format. The plus the comparative, and then the plus the comparative again. Here's an example to make it clearer. It means that in spoken and written English, people often use the comparative, the plus the plus comparative to mean if it is more X, it will be more Y, for example.
For example, the more you eat, the more obese you are. Is it right to say?
That sounds exactly what we mean here. Going on a healthy diet is good. The sooner, the better. It means it's best to start right away. As well, the longer I waited, the harder it was to change. And this means that as time passed, it became harder to change.
A very good structure, I think. Comparative forms of compound adjectives. If the first word of the compound is an adjective, for example, open-minded, long-lasting, use er or more to make the comparative form. If the first word is not an adjective, like in badly behaved, in this case badly is an adverb, right? Use more. And here is an example. First, at the bottom are the lower level psychological needs. Or, I'd like a more expensive looking car. Or, a more culturally sensitive theory would include ideas like this.
Very good.
And I think that we have to practice a very good part of the lesson. We have words which are jumbled and we have to try to put them in the right order to make grammatically correct sentences. Okay, are you ready to start?
Yes, and I hope that the audience will pay attention and do it before I give my answer.
Of course. Okay, so the words we have are highly motivated, the, more, are, you, the, better, you, have, and results. Okay, how would you put these words?
Well, I would do it the following way. The more highly motivated you are, comma, the better results you have.
That's right, Mr. Daryl. Now it's my turn to try. I'm listening to you carefully.
Here are your words. You, more, the, practice, the, you, get, better.
I think the right structure would be the following. The more you practice, the better you are. Oh, the better you get, sorry.
The better you are is also good.
Okay, yes.
The more you practice, the better you are.
Okay, nice. Now it's for you, and then it's a very long one, so you have to be careful and to listen attentively. Happier, with, lasting, their, relationships, with, other, longer, is, be, someone, themselves, the, and then the, and can.
It is a very long one, and I hope the audience can get it on their own, but here is the answer. the happier someone is with themselves, comma, the longer lasting their relationships with others can be.
Great.
Yeah.
And it's my turn now. Yes.
Here are your collection of words. The, you, of winning, better, better again, attitude, the, are, your chances.
It's about my chances, I think, and I have to use the comparative structure. And I would say this the following way: the better your attitude, the better your chances are of winning.
Yeah, lots of positive messages today.
Yes, and I think that unfortunately we have come to the end of the lesson, and it's time to wrap it up. So what did we do of the lesson today?
Well, as you remember, we had the vocabulary list at the beginning. That led us straight to the reading text, which was about a healthy diet. And from there we moved on to the grammar section, which was about making comparisons.
So, and I think it's time for homework, Mr. Jerry. And what are we going to have as a homework?
We'd like the audience to write a paragraph recommending a healthy diet, which you can research or ask around for.
Okay, and where can the homework be uploaded, Mr. Daru?
It can be uploaded to the address you see on the screen. You'll also find a sample answer there.
Okay, very interesting and helpful of you. Okay, and I think that all we have to do now is to say goodbye and look forward to our next lesson, right?
We have more to talk about on this topic.
Nursing, I think, right? Okay, stay with us and keep on learning.
Until next time, goodbye.
Bye.